everyone, welcome back to Planet Coaster and welcome back to another episode of Lake Willis. Today we are continuing the entrance area from last episode. Of course, if you missed the last episode, I did construct like the main sort of arch, sort of structure, what would you call it, like the main entrance building. It's not necessarily a building because there's nowhere to go inside, but basically the thing you pass under there, you just saw it there. So this episode we're kind of doing the area surrounding it really, mainly like the ticketing area where you'd come from the car park and you're standing in front of the entrance, not necessarily the main street, not necessarily the car park itself, just that area where you've just come from the car park, you're getting your tickets ready and you're ready to get them scanned basically to get some entry into the theme park. Here I'm putting down one of the rides from the studio pack, the Tram tour. I'm actually using this as sort of like a bus sort of route. I've basically done that because the car park seems a bit too big for your average guest to bother walking the entire length. So we've got at one end of the car park, we've got one bus station, or whatever you want to call it, a tram, let's just call it a tram, and then right by the entrance we have another tram station. And so, just more convenience really. I mean, I know the UK theme parks don't really have that, and you only get that at like Disney, and that's it, but it's just something I wanted to put in because it looks nice really. But yeah, so just doing the loop now, and then I realised that it actually cut through the station, so yeah, of course I am just reworking it at the moment. If I'm going to speed up, come on, speed up, because I want to move on to the next thing. I can't talk more about this tram. Oh, for God's sake, stop looking at it. I don't know what I do sometimes when I build, I just go up and look at things. So here I'm doing the sort of the pavement. What I wanted to do, I wanted to have this tram track as sort of embedded in the pavement, like it goes down a bit, so that's what I'm doing here. And you can like get right up close to it and say, oh look, that's the tram track right there. So yeah, that's basically what I'm doing here. Once again, using these concrete slab pieces on the Theme Maker's Toolkit workshop. Really good pieces actually. I assume almost everyone has these pieces. They're basically like the concrete floor pieces, but just not gridded and in different sizes really. It just makes it a lot easier to do floors like this, custom floors, when the path system's so stupid you just can't use it. That is something that bugs me about Planet Coaster though, is the path system is so horrible. I just wish we could do like draw an outline of a path and then paint it in, like sort of a paintbrush or bucket tool where you just draw an outline and then you can fill that all in. That would be amazing. Frontier, please put that in Planet Coaster 2. But yeah, so just filling in the gaps of course, because there were some gaps left in the path. What was I gonna say? Don't know what I was gonna say. Oh, we jumped. It seems I stopped recording. But yeah, so we jumped to this part of the recording, whatever. I don't know, this is a different clip. And yeah, you've seen, you see there, I have done some flower beds in the middle because there's no point in putting path there because the guests can't get to it anyway. So let's just put a flower bed in there, makes it look all nice and have some scenery around the entrance really, and you can also use it as like a tree barrier to stop people from seeing backstage or the rest of the park. Like, like Alton Towers, you can't really see the park until you're in the park. I kind of want Lake Willis to be like that, but at the same time not, because I feel like that's not what Lake Willis is going to be, but at the same time it adds some charm to the park really, in my opinion. And once again, using these Theme Maker's Toolkit pieces as well, I just have, but yeah, those were the fence pieces found on a Theme Maker's Toolkit workshop. Really good pieces actually, very very nice, and they look, sorry, I'm losing my train of thought here, they look really really good in my opinion. And yeah, just building a path here, and I just can't help but remember Studio Atlantica. This, building this path from the entrance along the roads like this, it reminds me a lot of when I did it with Studio Atlantica last summer. I'd like to go back to Studio Atlantica, but at the same time I feel like the park wasn't really that good. Anyway, but yeah, just got the path in the entrance area there. You might be thinking, hang on, what? That path looks horrible. Of course, I am gonna go over that with the concrete pieces, just putting in some scenery pieces in here, some birch trees, and this is fantastic. I don't think I've actually mentioned this in a video yet. N7's tree or scenery pack, whatever you want to call it. So that's on the workshop right there. I'll leave a link in the description for this workshop item. But yeah, N7 did an absolutely fantastic job with this workshop item, and I'm definitely going to be using it a lot in Lake Willis. You know, I think a bit too much, and this does put the piece count up a bit, but I feel like the biome I'm using, which is the new city biome, which is quite smaller. I don't know if it is actually smaller, but it definitely feels smaller than the other biomes, and I feel like that might help a bit because I'm putting in a lot of pieces for detail. The piece count will go up, but the park will be smaller, so there's less stuff to have, if that makes sense. But yeah, it's, you know, the higher the piece count goes, the better the detail will be, and because we're in a city biome, it doesn't really matter that much because the park boundaries are quite small. But yeah, I'm just using more trees now from the tree pack, and these are the kind of trees that are on paths, and they have the little planter there at the bottom. Now these are already in the game. There are trees like this in the game, and there's a little planter in the game, which is that piece right there actually. But these ones they just look better. Well done N7, you officially outdone Frontier. But yeah, these just look miles better than the in-game ones. And so yeah, here's another item that I've got off the workshop, is these bus stop things. Now I know I said this is a tram, but you know, it works, really, it works. And it's just a little thing to wait in, waiting for the tram, you know, because it's not really going to be a proper station with a queue line. It's just a place where guests can go, they can wait for a tram and, you know, just hop on, hop off whenever they want. Well, not whilst the tram's in motion, of course. And yeah, and yeah, it's not like Alton Towers monorail where you have to queue up and they assign you a bay, and then, you know, which for something like the Alton Towers monorail is kind of needed, because you can't just have it like a free-for-all, because what if everyone wants to go to the back so they can actually see out the windows? But yeah, and now I did move the entrance, hence why I was moving that Lake Willis little sign. I don't think I mentioned that actually in the last episode. That Lake Willis sort of sign was actually done by Fog's small font, I think it is. I'll leave a link in the description for that. Unfortunately, you can't just have it on its own, it does have to be embedded in a wall, but it does look quite nice. And the main reason why I use a lot of fonts, or custom made fonts like that, or like FeeMaker's Toolkit pieces, it's just because the in-game signs are just horrible, and the fonts they come with are just horrible as well. Yeah, the in-game signs just aren't nice, they're really cartoony, and yeah, it's just not nice at all. Here, I've actually brought over something from the old Lake Willis, which was in episode 3, which is like this ticket building thing, but I've just got a single wall from it, and I'm actually doing like a tiny little ticket booth, basically exactly like the ones from Alton Towers. Not exactly like the ones from Alton Towers, but basically based off the ones from Alton Towers. Well, the ones in Alton Towers aren't even there anymore, which, no, that's sad actually. But yeah, so for those of you who were visiting Alton Towers before 2018 would know, there were these tiny little ticket booths where if you didn't have a pre-booked ticket, that's where you would go to, and you know, it looks kind of nice, it's nice and cute. But the main reason I've done this is just to fill up the empty space in the entrance plaza, because I looked at it and there was a lot of empty space there, and these ticket booths, I think I'm going to do 3 of them. It just fills up that empty space really, it just makes it, you know, look better basically. But yeah, just actually getting quite a bit of pieces over from the main entrance, the sort of arch thing, getting those roof pieces that are inspired by Magic Kingdom's entrance or Disneyland's entrance, whichever one you want, I don't mind. But yeah, I think I might go back and change the roofs on these little ticket booths, because after I placed them all down and everything was done, I couldn't help but notice they just looked a bit too big, and they were blocking the view of the main entrance archway a bit too much, if you get what I mean. But yeah, they were just a bit too big, and yeah, it felt like they were invading the entrance archway, really. But yeah, this is basically the rest of the episode, so I'm going to leave you now. So yeah, thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed the rest of the time lapse, and I'll see you all very, very soon. Goodbye.